So welcome everybody, my name is Paul. I'm a country realtor in the western part of Virginia near Waynesboro. And I love homesteading, and I talk a lot about buying and selling property. My specialty is rural property and recreational property and that sort of thing. And I like to encourage people to develop their property and make them beautiful and increase the value of their investment. But I got a bunch of books here, and without any delay, I'm going to get into them here. I got some special topics today, and there's a lot of books. I'll run through them pretty quickly here. First of all, I would encourage people, all homeowners, whether you're a new homeowner or old homeowner, first-time buyer, get yourself some books about the various aspects of how your house runs. There's all kinds of books out there, books like this, maintenance and improvement, and I tell you, you can hold on to the value of your property and make it much more valuable in the future if you just keep it in good shape. And you don't need to know everything in a book, but if you know how something works and how it functions, you just might be able to solve the problem yourself, maybe even lay a few patio bricks or something like that, or make some shelvings and so on. But if you know how your house is functioning, how it's put together, it really helps a lot. And have some routines, what you might do weekly, monthly, and yearly to take care of your property. So I'll run through a couple more books here. There's a lot of them out there. But you can get these things at yard sales, get a bunch of them. They're so cheap here. This one's a little older, and the diagrams aren't as in color and all that. But still, it tells you a lot about how your wiring works and all kinds of stuff. So again, this is the kind of book here, how things work in your home and what to do when they don't. And one more book here, the trouble-free home repair guide for the complete idiot. Well, you're not an idiot if you buy property, that's what I can say. So get yourself some books on how to maintain that property and solve some of the problems yourself without calling a plumber or electrician. Now, just little fun books here. These are a couple books here. I really encourage people to go out and look for these kind of books. They're older, and you can get them dirt cheap in so many places, Goodwill stores, flea markets. And I'll tell you what, they got all kinds of stuff in here. Sometimes the dimensions and the photographs and what materials you need. And I mean, things about pools and steps and how to build little projects. I mean, it's amazing. You know, and it just, a lot of books like this you can get. There's a whole series of them, actually. Here's another one, The Home Handyman. Popular Mechanics probably publish this book every year, and there's tons of them out there. Again, they even have dimensions and how they're put together and diagrams and everything. And it's not just about woodworking. There's all kinds of interesting stuff about pottery and log cabin building and lakeside retreat, and it's just fantastic. And you can build these projects. There's no copyright on them. They're like 50, 60 years old. You can probably make something very similar and even sell it, perhaps, you know. So getting more into woodworking and so on, basic carpentry. You don't have to be an expert, but I'll tell you, the skills that you can learn about how to put things together, how to use some of the tools that you have, maybe sitting around your garage, maybe you can use them and save yourself some money and learn a few really basic things. Now, you may not want to build something that's structural or has to meet some kind of code, but I'll tell you what, shelves and cabinets. There's no end to the use of cabinets and shelves. People fill up bookshelves and oops, got to need a new bookshelf. And I go to different flea markets and Goodwill stores and so on, and good shelves always sell. And if you walk into a home like I do as a realtor, I see so many homes, and you'd be surprised how many homes I see, even on the high end, just boring, same old, same old. They got the cabinets from Lowe's or whatever, just a little bigger or whatever, and they're all put together kind of in a standard way. But make yourself something really nice. I know a person that has a home from the 1920s, and that home has, oh man, wood cabinets like you'd die for. It just took a couple $1,000s just to build one, if you can even find one who will do it, you see. But if you learn some of the things yourself, shelves and cabinets never go out of style, because we have so much stuff today, and a lot of books. So here's another one. This is a good book on the shelf book. I personally like this book a lot, and I just love to make things. I've made myself shelves and other people's shelves, and I just get creative with them sometimes, you know, figure out different ways to make a shelf that matches my needs in particular and fits a certain space, a certain kind of wood, instead of getting the same old junk that you get, you know, at the main big stores. Another quick book here, Woodworking Techniques. Again, little tidbits on each little technique. There's so many different little things. You may not use all of them, but you just might find, hey, you can make some gifts you can make some tools for yourself, you can make some furniture, or you can maintain or fix your chair or table. There's just a lot of little things that you can learn if you just know how things are put together. And again, Woodworking Techniques Encyclopedia by this author here. Moving along here, one more thing here quickly, mold. You know what? A lot of people don't think about mold when they buy a house. You might find mold in any kind of corner of the house, especially with humidity and moisture. Dirt gets in there and bugs, and after a while it starts to get moldy. And there's certain kinds of mold that are really toxic, and generally they're just not good to have around. And this book tells you a little bit about mold, and you know, there's ways to get libertizing and using various kinds of things like bleach and so on, and vacuuming and cleaning. So mold, just learn a little bit about mold, because sometimes, honestly, if someone found home that has mold in it, I actually lost a sale one time because they actually were eager to buy it, and then they looked around, oh, they got some black mold in there, and sales off. So know about mold. A couple fun things here. Raising the home duck flock. I don't have ducks, but there are a lot of ducks around here in Virginia, and this one goes into great detail. Again, cheap books. You can find them used. They're like, I got this one for like probably $1/4. I mean, really. And if you want to raise some ducks, and good to know about them and how to take care of them, what they eat, and all that kind of the different kinds of ducks that they have. So again, get yourself a little book like this that help you when you're learning about raising animals. Same way, another one, Raising Sheep the Modern Way. Well, this book is probably from the 70s. Yeah, 1976. But again, they're cheap as heck out there. Get some books about it. Goats have been around for a really long time, and sheep, and it helps to know if you're going to have some. And by the way, a farmer told me if you're going to get animals, get a fence before you get animals. Another really good book here, Earth Sheltered Home Design. Now this is kind of interesting because I sold a house a couple of years ago that one side of it was into the embankment, and it was designed that way. The back of the house didn't have any windows for that reason, but you know, it's the way it is here, and there's a lot of different kinds of thoughts that go into building with Earth Sheltered Home Design. In some cases it makes a lot of sense. And some really fabulous designers in the past have built homes underground or sheltered. Like, for example, look at this one on this side here, way in there. You might run into a problem with windows, but then you can get these skylights that come in and various tubes that funnel light. So a very interesting book here, Earth Sheltered Housing Design, Guidances, Examples, and References. Another quick fun one here, kids. A lot of people move the country, they want to raise a nice family. Make your property interesting, okay? Go out there and make some sheds, maybe a tree house, or get your kids involved in some projects because it's fun. You can make stuff here. You know, you can make your own stuff. And again, as a realtor, I see the same old stuff. I get a tin shed from somebody, or maybe a little plastic one, or maybe if you get a little more like one of these Amish sheds that's maybe 8 by 15 feet or something like that. You can get sheds like that and have them come and delivered. But they're kind of same old. You see them all over the side, you know, on people's homes. Build something yourself and have a little fun with it and enjoy it. Because, again, I talk a little bit about maintaining the property is holding the value from the perspective of a realtor. Your home is your big investment, and you need to know how it works and how to make it especially attractive, because maybe one day you'll sell the home, or maybe you'll pass it down to your family and eventually they'll sell their home, or maybe you paid it off after 30 years and then you want to get it reappraised, and someone comes in and says, wow, this is an amazing home, it's got all this beautiful stuff here that you don't see in other places, and it'll get the top dollar. So make the home beautiful and attractive, and keep maintaining it. Electrical systems can cost you tons of money, But basically, they're fairly simple. You know, electricians get trained, but we all need to kind of know basically how the house is wired, so that, you know, one day, you know, that little plate comes off maybe the switch, and or maybe you blow a fuse and you got to figure out what to do. Just learn a little bit, have some books around like this, and you go, oh, that's not too scary. I just go shut off the fuse box and I can go install, for example, this is a ground circuit interrupter special circuit here, that in some cases old bathrooms don't have that. And there's a law now that if you have a new bathroom, that it needs to have this ground circuit. That means if there's a short, it immediately just stops everything so someone doesn't get electrified. And they put these anywhere around water in the kitchens, in the bathrooms, and so on. So just understand a little bit about how things are put together, the different components, and then you can help yourself out and save a lot of money. Annex and basements. I talk to people about this because there's many parts of the country that still have basements, and a lot of them still have attics. So maybe the attic is not a full attic and you can't use it very much for anything, or maybe the basement is only a half basement. But believe me, a lot of problems start in the basement. There's water and foundation issues and so on. And go down to your basement now and then, look around and take a look at the beams there, see if there's any problem or any water leaks are on the side. And you can make your basement really, really attractive. Again, the whole thing about building your equity. Make it unique, make it beautiful, and understand how it works, so that when you do have a mechanic or someone come to fix your home, you know when they're did a good job, you see, because you know a good job from a bad job, and you won't get ripped off, you see. So understand your attics and basements. There's a lot of books out there. This is Black & Decker. You probably get this at Lowe's or a hardware store like that, and get yourself something like this to help you learn about it. A few more here. Roofing. We don't think about the roof very much, but believe me, that's the first thing you'll think about if it starts to leak. So a lot of times people buy a house and the house looks fine, and then 10 years goes by, they need a new roof. And maybe you have to put solar on there, and you have to take the solar off so you can put the roof on, fix the roof. Know the condition of your roof, how they're put together. A tin roof, a metal roof are some of the best long-lasting roofs you can ever get. I have a home like that, and it's from the 1940s, and it's got the original roof. And believe me, those things last a long time. My inspector said, hey, this is the longest lasting roofs. So understand a little bit how roofs are put together. There's usually in layers. There's different kinds. There's slate, and there's different kinds of things you got to put down to make sure the roof is sealed. And there's lines around the edges of these dormers here. You can get kind of leakage sometimes. It seeps down in there. And you just, it won't be a mystery to you if you kind of understand how the roof is, and one day you find a little leak, say, okay, I know where that's coming from, and you call up a roofer and have them fix it. Plumbing, that's another one, costs you buckaroos. Know how plumbing is. A lot of the plumbing modern days is plastic. They have some very special kind of things that they put in there, like PEX and everything, and they connect fast and everything, the old style. If you find a house that still has copper plumbing, grab it, because copper plumbing these days is like, oh man, that's the top of the line, basically. Copper plumbing all the way through. You don't find it as much anymore. It's expensive, and it lasts a really long time, and even if an old homeowner and try to steal the copper, believe it or not. How your drains work, how your sinks work. Just understand, because the typical things, you either have like a clogged toilet or a clogged sink or a clogged bathtub, and a lot of times the clog is farther down. For example, let's say if all your drains are clogging and going slow, then it means that somewhere down there's a clog. It's a collective thing. All kinds of guck and particles go down there in the drains from your various things, and you want to make sure that you flush it out, and there's various chemicals, and know how your plumbing works, and it'll save you a lot of money and aggravation. And I got one more book here, The Old House. A lot of people like to restore old homes, and it's a noble thing to do. And sometimes if it's a historic type of home, you might even be able to get some county or state or citywide help with funding for certain kinds of things like lead removal and so on. But old houses can run into problems because there's older electrical systems and older roofs and so on, and various kinds of beams and issues that might come up. And the way the houses are constructed long ago was a little different. For example, the home I'm in now has actual 2x4s, not just 1.5 by 3.5. They're actual squared off 2x4s, rough sawn lumber, and they're strong. And after 80 years, they're still holding up. And I'm going to reinforce some of the beams and some of the retaining walls and so on. I have already done that, but the home is in really good shape. And speaking of attics, as I mentioned earlier, my attic, for example, like many attics, it's not an attic that you go up and use. You don't really want to store things up there because you got to climb up this little skimpy little ladder. And I got plenty of storage space outside in my other building, so I don't need to do that. But again, take advantage of learning about your home and how it's put together. I favor books because, hey, the internet, I get lots of information on the internet. It's fantastic. But I also like having real hard books around. And I'm going to think about some way to give away a book now and then to any of my subscribers because I have a lot of books. And actually, I've been in the book business related to a family member. And we have a lot of books. I love to give away books. So, again, get yourself some more understanding of how your home works and treat it as an investment. Because a lot of people, when they get their home, they move in and go, hey, well, I'm excited. Then they just proceed to make it messier and messier and messier and don't take care of anything because it starts off all great, but after 15, 20 years of not paying attention to your home, you're going to have some issues. So I try to encourage people, when you buy, think carefully. Just because you find a basement that has a little dampness or having an attic or maybe it needs a little bit of attention or something, don't worry about that so much. Think about what you can do if you're with your knowledge and understanding and some tools and what you can do to save yourself a lot of money and make your investment really beautiful. And again, I urge people to go a little outside the box when they think about decorating and adding additions and doing some customizations. I wouldn't go so extreme like build like an octagonal house, for example. They won't sell very easily, but there's a lot of other kinds of modifications and improvements that you can make: shelves, tables, lamps, all kinds of really cool stuff, different colors and decorations and cabinets and things that you can put in your home that nobody else will have. And when you come time to sell your house or get it reappraised for taking another loan or something, they'll go, wow, that's a well put together house, a well taken care of house, and a beautiful house. And again, thanks again for listening. I appreciate people. The comments, I always read them, and I love to listen to other people's content and share information. We're all in this together here. And again, I'm Virginia Homesteads. My name is Paul. I work I'm a licensed realtor and also a licensed drone pilot. And I live in a beautiful Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. See my other videos, and thanks again for watching.